Hey guys, welcome to week 10, day 2 in the Bible in a Year Life podcast, where this year we continue to read the Bible in chronological order. My name is Shane, and today we continue to read from the Names of God Bible, and we'll read Numbers 21 to 22. Remember that you can join us live on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as we discuss the things that we have read this week. It's a Zoom meeting, and the details to join that meeting are in the description. You can also find it on our website at biaylproject.com/connect. But for now, let us dive into today's reading. Numbers chapter 21. The king of Arad is defeated. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that the Israelites were coming on the road to Atharim, he fought them and took some of them as prisoners. Then the Israelites made this vow to Yahweh: "If you will hand these people over to us, we'll destroy their cities because you've claimed them." Yahweh listened to the Israelites and handed the Canaanites over to them. They destroyed the Canaanites and their cities, so they called the place Hormah, claimed for destruction. The bronze snake. Then they moved from Mount Hor, following the road that goes to the Red Sea, in order to get around Edom. The people became impatient on the trip and criticized Elohim and Moses. They said, "Why did you make us leave Egypt? Just to let us die in the desert? There's no bread or water, and we can't stand this awful food." So Yahweh sent poisonous snakes among the people. They bit the people, and many of the Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we criticized Yahweh and you. Pray to Yahweh so that he will take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. Yahweh said to Moses, "Make a snake, put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it on a pole. People looked at the bronze snake after they were bitten, and they lived. Israel travels past Edom to Moab. The Israelites moved and set up camp at Oboth. Next, they moved from Oboth and set up camp at Lai Abarim, in the desert west of Moab. From there, they moved and set up camp at the Zered River. They moved from there and set up camp on the other side of the Arnon Valley, in the desert that extends into Amorite territory. The Arnon Valley is the border between Moab and the Amorites. This is how it's described in the book of the wars of Yahweh: Waheb in Supah and the valleys, Arnon and the slopes of the valleys that go down to the site of Ar and lie along the border of Moab. From there they went to Beer Well. This is the well where Yahweh said to Moses, "Gather the people, and I will give them water." Then Israel sang this song about the well: "Make your water spring up. Sing to the well dug by princes, dug out by the nobles of the people with their scepters and staffs." From the desert they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley in Moab where Mount Pisgah overlooks Jeshimon. Sihon and Og defeated. Then Israel sent messengers to say to King Sihon of the Amorites, "Let us go through your country. We won't go through any of your fields or vineyards, or drink any of the water from your wells. We'll stay on the king's highway until we've passed through your territory." Sihon wouldn't let Israel pass through his territory. Sihon gathered all his troops and came out into the desert to attack Israel. When Sihon's troops came to Jahaz, they fought against Israel, but Israel defeated them in battle and took possession of their land from the Arnon Valley to the Jabbok River. They stopped at the border of Ammon because it was fortified. Israel took all those Amorite cities, including Heshbon and all its villages, and lived in them. Heshbon was a city of King Sihon of the Amorites. He had fought the former king of Moab and had taken all his land up to the Arnon Valley. This is why the poets say, "Come to Heshbon, rebuild it. Restore Sihon's city. Fire came out of Heshbon, flames from Sihon's city. They destroyed Ar of Moab, the ruler of Arnon's worship sites. How horrible it is for you, Moab, who are destroyed, you people of God Cheshmosh. Cheshmosh let his sons become refugees, and he let his daughters become prisoners of King Sihon of the Amorites. But we shot the Amorites full of arrows. From Heshbon to Dibon they all died. We destroyed everyone and everything between Nophah and Medeba. So the Israelites settled in the land of the Amorites. After Moses sent spies to Jazer, the Israelites captured its cities and villages and forced out the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and followed the road that goes to Bashan. King Og of Bashan and all his troops came out to fight the Israelites at Edrei. Yahweh said to Moses, "Don't be afraid of him. I'll hand him, all his troops, and his land over to you. Do to him what you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon." The Israelites defeated him, his sons, and all his troops, leaving no survivors, and they took possession of his land. Numbers chapter 22. Balaam is hired to curse Israel. Then the Israelites moved and set up camp across from Jericho on the plains of Moab east of the Jordan River. Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. The Moabites were very afraid because there were so many Israelites. Besides, the Moabites couldn't stand these people. So the Moabites said to the leaders of Midian, "All those people will eventually eat up everything around us, the same way an ox eats up the grass in a field." At that time, Balak, son of Zippor, was king of Moab. He sent messengers to summon Balaam, son of Beor, who was at Pethor, on the Euphrates River, in the land where his people lived. Balak's message was, "A nation has just come here from Egypt. They've spread out all over the countryside and are setting up their camp here in the front of me. Please come and curse these people for me, because they are too strong for me. Maybe then I'll be able to defeat them and force them out of the country. I know that whomever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed." The leaders of Moab and Midian left, taking money with them to pay for Balaam's services. They came to Balaam and told him what Balak had said. "Spend the night here," Balaam said to them, "and I'll report to you what Yahweh tells me." So the princes of Moab stayed with Balaam. Elohim came to Balaam and asked, "Who are these men with you?" Balaam answered, "Balak, son of King Zippor of Moab, sent them with this message. Some people have just come from Egypt and are spreading out all over the countryside. Now come and curse them for me. Maybe I'll be able to fight them and force them out." But Elohim said to Balaam, "Don't go with them. Don't curse these people, because they are blessed." When Balaam got up in the morning, he said to Balak's princes, "Go back to your own country, because Yahweh has refused to let me go with you." So the Moabite princes went back to Balak and said, "Balaam refused to come with us." Balak sent a larger group of more highly respected princes. When they came to Balaam, they said to him, "This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Don't let anything keep you from coming to me. I will make sure you are richly rewarded, and I will do whatever you ask. Please, come and curse these people for me." But Balaam answered Balak's servants, "Even if Balak gave me his palace filled with silver and gold, I couldn't disobey the command of Yahweh, my Elohim, no matter whether the request was important or not. Now, why don't you stay here tonight, as the others did, and I'll find out what else Yahweh may have to tell me." That night, Elohim came to Balaam and said, "If these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you." Balaam's journey to Moab. When Balaam got up in the morning, he saddled his donkey and left with the Moabite princes. Elohim became angry that he was going, so the messenger of Yahweh stood in the road to stop him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, accompanied by his 2 servants. When the donkey saw the messenger of Yahweh standing in the road with his sword drawn, the donkey turned off the road into a field. Balaam hit the donkey to get it back on the road. Where the road went through the vineyards, it was narrow, with stone walls on both sides. Now the messenger of Yahweh stood there. When the donkey saw the messenger of Yahweh, it moved over and pinned Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam hit the donkey again. Then the messenger of Yahweh moved ahead and stood in a narrower place where there was no room to turn to the right or the left. When the donkey saw the messenger of Yahweh, it lay down under Balaam. Balaam became so angry he hit the donkey with his stick. Then Yahweh made the donkey speak, and it asked Balaam, What have I done to make you hit me 3 times? Balaam answered, You've made a fool of me. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you right now. The donkey said to Balaam, I'm your own donkey. You've always ridden me. Have I ever done this to you before? No, he answered. Then Yahweh let Balaam see the messenger of Yahweh, who was standing in the road with his sword drawn. So Balaam knelt, bowing with his face touching the ground. The messenger of Yahweh asked, Why have you hit your donkey 3 times like this? I have come here to stop you because the trip you're taking is evil. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away from me, I would certainly have killed you by now, but spared the donkey. Balaam said to the messenger of Yahweh, I've sinned. I didn't know you were standing there in the road to stop me. If you still think this trip is evil, I'll go back. The messenger of Yahweh said to Balaam, Go with the men, but say only what I tell you. So Balaam went with Balak's princes. When Balak heard that Balaam had come, he went out to meet him at Moab, in the region of the Arnon Valley, right under the border of Moab. Balak said to Balaam, Why didn't you come when I summoned you? You knew I'd be able to reward you. Balaam replied, Well, I've come to you now, but I can't say whatever I want to. I can only say what Elohim tells me to say. Balaam went with Balak to Kiriath Huzoth. Balak sacrificed cattle, sheep, and goats, and sent some of the meat to Balaam and the princes who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam to Bamoth Baal. From there he could see the outskirts of the Israelites' camp.